So how much is Elon Musk really worth? On paper, he's one of the richest men alive. Maybe the richest. But here's the problem. When it comes to Elon, nothing is ever that simple. His wealth isn't locked in a bank vault or sitting in some offshore account. It's tied up in rocket ships, electric cars, social media chaos, and mind-bending AI. One day he gains $10 billion. The next, he loses it before lunch. But behind the headlines and flashy rankings, there's a deeper story. One that's never made it to the front page. Could Elon Musk's true net worth be far higher than what we're told? Or is the whole empire balancing on a digital house of cards? Keep watching till the end to find out the shocking truths about Elon's hidden assets, secret projects, and why his actual fortune might be one of the biggest mysteries in modern history. On paper, Elon Musk is worth around $204 billion. That number alone should blow your mind. But here's the catch. It changes faster than you can blink. In fact, Musk's wealth has been known to swing by billions of dollars in a single day. And no, that's not an exaggeration. But where does this money actually come from? Elon doesn't take a salary. He doesn't collect big annual bonuses like most CEOs. Instead, his entire fortune is wrapped up in stocks, private companies, and bold bets on the future. The majority of his reported net worth is tied to Tesla, which has become one of the most volatile companies in the world. Not because it's failing, but because it's attached to a man who tweets faster than he blinks. And yet every time the world thinks Elon is slipping, the numbers snap back. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Some financial insiders believe his actual wealth is being severely underestimated, because many of his most lucrative holdings are hidden from public view. They're not listed in SEC filings. They're not even part of mainstream coverage. They're tucked away in private ventures, shell companies, and tech assets that don't make it into the billionaire indexes. So while the headlines scream $204 billion, the real question is, how much of Elon's wealth is in places no one's really looking? And to answer that, we need to follow the money trail, starting with the company that made him a household name. Tesla. Tesla might be Elon Musk's crown jewel, but it's also his biggest gamble. The electric vehicle empire he built is facing pressure from all sides: Chinese EV giants, tightening global emissions laws, and a market that's beginning to question whether Tesla can stay on top. But even with all that noise, one thing hasn't changed. Tesla still makes up the largest chunk of Musk's wealth. He owns roughly 13% of the company. And even after all the turbulence, those shares are still worth over $70 billion. But here's the twist most people don't talk about. Elon's not just holding those shares, he's been leveraging them. That's right. Musk has quietly used billions in Tesla stock as collateral for massive personal loans. And while that might sound like something out of a Wall Street playbook, it means one thing. His net worth is far more fragile than it appears. If Tesla's stock drops hard enough, he's on the hook in a very real way. And Tesla's not exactly the safe haven it once was. Self-driving lawsuits, manufacturing delays, and brutal PR missteps have rocked investor confidence. Musk's polarizing public persona doesn't help either. One controversial tweet can cost him billions overnight. But just when the world thinks Tesla's on the ropes, Elon pulls a rabbit out of the hat. A surprise profit report, a breakthrough battery announcement, a viral Cybertruck stunt. It's this chaotic cycle of collapse and comeback that keeps Tesla and Musk hovering at the edge of brilliance and disaster. But Tesla's only the public part of the equation. What if I told you the real gold mine, the part of his empire most people never see, is flying just above our heads? While Tesla gets all the media love, the real secret behind Elon Musk's mind-blowing fortune might be SpaceX. And here's why. Unlike Tesla, SpaceX is privately owned, meaning it doesn't show up in daily stock market updates. But behind the scenes, it's a financial beast. SpaceX is valued at over $180 billion, and Elon reportedly owns around 42% of it. That alone could be worth $75 billion or more, and it's growing fast. Unlike Tesla, SpaceX doesn't ride public investor hype. It builds rockets, launches satellites, and signs billion-dollar government contracts. That's real revenue, and it's only getting bigger. But the real moneymaker? Starlink. What started as a side project has become one of the most profitable satellite networks on the planet, with over 6,000 satellites in orbit and growing. It's now providing internet access across war zones, remote regions, and even in places where governments have tried to cut off communication entirely. That kind of power? It doesn't just bring in cash. It brings leverage. Even more explosive, rumors have been swirling about a SpaceX IPO. If that happens, Elon's stake could skyrocket overnight, potentially adding tens of billions to his net worth in a matter of hours. And if that wasn't enough, SpaceX is already quietly working with the Pentagon, launching defense payloads under top-secret contracts. So while the world watches Tesla's stock dance, Musk's most valuable asset might be hiding in plain sight, just waiting for liftoff. And if you think that's wild, wait until you hear what's been happening with the app formerly known as Twitter. When Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion in 2022, most people thought he'd lost his mind. 2 years later, he renamed it X, gutted its leadership, turned it into a free speech battleground, and promised to build an all-in-one, everything app that would revolutionize social media, finance, and commerce. Bold, yes. But has it paid off? Not quite. At least not yet. By 25, X is still bleeding money. Major advertisers pulled out, daily active users dropped, and some analysts have slashed its valuation to as low as $8 billion, a staggering fall from Musk's original price tag. On paper, that looks like a colossal failure. But once again, with Elon, the real story is never that simple. Behind the chaos, Musk has been quietly transforming X into a financial infrastructure platform. It now includes payment processing, tipping, encrypted messaging, and even partnerships with select retailers and crypto services. Some say it's Musk's long game. Forget ads. He wants to own the future of online transactions. And here's where things get really murky. Several tech insiders claim X is licensing its internal software, especially its censorship resistance tools and AI moderation, to government and defense agencies. It's not public, it's not confirmed. But if true, it could mean that X isn't just a broken social app. It's a Trojan horse for a much bigger financial strategy. So while the media calls X a disaster, Musk might be playing 4D chess. Because if X does become the all-in-one super app he envisions, it could unlock a trillion-dollar market and bring his net worth back into the stratosphere. But Musk isn't stopping there. His newest ventures are even more speculative and far more dangerous. If Tesla is Elon's foundation and SpaceX is his secret weapon, then xAI and Neuralink are his wild cards, the ventures that could either make him a trillionaire or bring it all crashing down. Let's start with xAI. As Musk's answer to OpenAI and Google's DeepMind, xAI has quickly evolved into one of the most closely watched AI startups on the planet. It's built around Grok, a brutally honest chatbot integrated directly into X. But Grok is just the tip of the iceberg. Insiders say Musk is building a full AI ecosystem, one designed to outthink current models and eventually run on his own infrastructure, including Starlink. xAI is already rumored to be valued at $20 billion or more, with most of that equity sitting directly in Musk's hands. Some venture capitalists believe it could eventually dwarf the value of Tesla. And if AI continues to explode, that might not be a stretch. Then there's Neuralink, the brain chip company that sounds like it was ripped from a sci-fi novel. Incredibly, Neuralink has already begun human trials, with a paralyzed patient successfully using the chip to control a computer with nothing but thought. It's a jaw-dropping breakthrough, but also a minefield of ethical and regulatory challenges. If Neuralink succeeds, it could open up an entirely new trillion-dollar industry in neurotechnology. But one lawsuit or medical disaster, and the dream goes up in smoke. Still, these companies share one thing in common. They're speculative now, but if they work, they'll change the world and make Elon far richer than any public list suggests. But what if we told you he's got even more wealth tucked away, in places no one's really looking? Elon Musk loves to say he owns no house and that he crashed in friends' spare rooms. Sounds humble, right? But the truth is a lot more complicated and way more interesting. After selling off most of his real estate, Musk claimed to be living in a $50,000 prefab house near SpaceX's Texas launch site. And while that might technically be true, documents and leaks suggest Musk's real estate footprint didn't just disappear, it went underground. Multiple reports point to property ownership through shell companies and LLCs, giving him access to luxury homes across the U.S., from Silicon Valley to Beverly Hills. These aren't just homes, they're private compounds, some outfitted with futuristic tech and security systems straight out of a James Bond film. And it's not just real estate. Musk is known for dabbling in cryptocurrencies, but what most people don't realize is just how deep it goes. He's long been a champion of Dogecoin, but analysts believe he holds undisclosed amounts of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and even smaller, lesser-known tokens. Some insiders claim Musk has a crypto portfolio stashed in cold storage wallets, possibly worth billions, that never make it into any official net worth calculation. Even more cryptic are the private investments tucked inside SpaceX-adjacent companies and AI startups, some in stealth mode, some operating quietly through family trusts. These off-the-books assets don't just inflate his true wealth, they shield it from scrutiny. So while the media obsesses over Elon's public shares and tweets, there's a hidden empire quietly generating wealth beneath the surface. But even empires have weak spots. And Elon's financial empire? It's under attack from all sides. For all of Elon Musk's futuristic ventures and skyrocketing valuations, there's one thing even he can't escape: the legal system, and it's closing in fast. One of the biggest bombshells came when a judge stripped Musk of his $56 billion Tesla pay package, the largest executive compensation plan in corporate history. Why? Shareholders claimed it was excessive and pushed through by a board that was far too cozy with Musk. A Delaware court agreed, calling the deal deeply flawed. If the ruling holds through appeals, Elon could be forced to return tens of billions in Tesla stock and options, a direct hit to his net worth. But that's just the start. He's also facing multiple lawsuits over workplace safety at Tesla factories, whistleblower claims at Neuralink, and regulatory investigations surrounding SpaceX launches and X-platform data practices. Each one could carry massive fines, restrictions, or worse, reputation damage, which in Musk's case translates to stock price freefall. And while he's still the face of innovation, his liquidity is shockingly low. Most of Musk's net worth is tied up in illiquid assets, shares he can't just sell without tanking the market or violating lockup agreements. That's why he's leaned heavily on personal loans backed by his Tesla stock. If the stock drops too far, those loans could trigger margin calls, forcing him to sell. The empire looks unstoppable from the outside, but behind closed doors, it's held together by leverage, trust, and timing. And yet, even with all these risks, Elon still holds the crown. Which leads us to the question that brought us here in the first place. How much is he really worth? The short answer? It depends who you ask, and what they're counting. Official estimates like Bloomberg and Forbes peg him around $204 billion, making him one of the richest people on Earth. But those numbers only scratch the surface. They include public stock holdings, not the shadow wealth tucked inside private companies like SpaceX, XAI, or Neuralink. They don't account for off-the-grid real estate, crypto portfolios, or hush-hush defense contracts. They ignore the possibility that Musk's secret assets might dwarf what we think we know. At the same time, his empire is unbelievably fragile. One court ruling, one crash in Tesla's stock, one failed rocket launch, and Elon's wealth could drop tens of billions overnight. His fortune is built on risk, timing, and a vision of the future that not everyone believes in. It's not locked away in a vault. It's flying through space, riding on algorithms, and buried in code. So is Elon Musk the richest man alive? Maybe. Or maybe he's just the boldest one playing the long game, betting everything on a future most of us can't even see coming. One thing's for sure, whatever number you put on Elon Musk's net worth today, it'll probably be wrong tomorrow.